Well, Democrats have long claimed that all 17 U.S. intel agencies agree that the Russians worked to get President Trump elected.
This has come from the highest levels of the Russian government, clearly from Putin himself, in an effort, as 17 of our intelligence agencies have confirmed, to influence our election.
17 of our intelligence agencies.
17 intelligence agencies.
17 different United States intelligence agencies.
The intelligence communities have concluded, all 17 of them, that Russia interfered with this election.
All right, well, it turns out the number was not 17. The actual number was only 4. Even the New York Times corrected a story this week in which it also falsely claimed that all 17 intel agencies agreed on Russia.
And overnight, the Associated Press also did the same thing, issuing a late Friday correction just before the holiday weekend after it published 4 separate stories citing that fake news. Here to weigh in is former CIA senior intel officer and senior fellow at the London Center for Policy Research, Lieutenant Colonel Tony Shaffer. Colonel, nice to see you this morning.
Good morning.
Good to be on. Thank you. Good to be on.
Are you surprised by this retraction of the 17 down to 4?
I am actually surprised that they retracted it, but this is not even actually making progress. The premise is still incorrect. The 4 agencies which did supposedly make this assessment still are, there's no basis, factual basis for that. So it's a good beginning, but no cigar. The ATP 2829 tools, which supposedly were the Russian evidence of the Russian hacking, so-called hacking, was simply going into email accounts, and there's no basis to really confirm the Russians did it. That's the biggest point. Secondly, to this whole narrative, look, this was put out there as weaponized information. We've talked about weaponized information here several times over the past 5 months. This was put out there for purposes of the Democrat Party, people like Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, all the others, to put this up as a weapon against President Trump. So we have to understand that this was meant to do what it did, attempt to undermine the belief that our election process was valid. It was. And if simply put, the mainstream media colluded with the president, with the Democrat Party to go against the president.
Well, and Tony, it's just not a good headline, right? I mean, 17 agencies saying that is one thing, but when you only have 4, that's not a great headline. So as we saw yesterday, it was retracted, I think, at the AP, late on a Friday night. New York Times story, it was buried somewhere. How dangerous is that for the American people who are trying to stay on top of all of this when they're not getting the right headlines?
This is hugely dangerous. The American people should trust the intelligence community to do what it's supposed to do, protect them. Unfortunately, under President Obama, the intelligence community was turned internally against his enemies, and this is another example of that. And I think, Abby, we need to go after, investigate who leaked the information to begin with to the media. Those people, and I believe it was either John Brennan, Ben Rhodes, someone at that level, Jim Clapper, who purposely set this information out there, knowing it was not completely correct, purposely spinning this as part of the mainstream media narrative against the president. And again, the American people have an intelligence community that's supposed to be protecting them, and you have political appointees like these guys doing the wrong thing, manipulating and weaponizing information.
Yeah, and then, of course, people wonder why people don't trust the media.
Right.
Fake news media. Colonel, great to see you this morning. Thanks. Have a great 4th of July.
Thanks for having me. Good to be on.
You bet. Coming up here on the show, while you were sleeping, Defense Secretary James Mattis making a big decision about transgender troops serving in the military. The overnight announcement from the Pentagon straight ahead.
And the liberal media's latest attack on President Trump, claiming that he is mentally unfit to hold that office. Corey Lewandowski is fired up about this, and he weighs in at the top of the next hour.